You've been connected to the DedSecCast. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to episode 7 of the DedSecCast. My name is Brett, aka UbiCentral, and joining me today is my wonderful, incredible, breathtaking co-host, Aftermath.
Thanks a bunch, Brett. That's an amazing intro. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's funny that you asked that, though, because guess what I beat the other day?
Oh, no. What was it?
Bad Blood.
Oh.
Yes, it was a ton of fun. I have played it before, but that was like when it came out, so it's been a while. And last week's episode, or maybe 2, you did mention how fantastic the default missions were, and I did remember them being good to like some extent, but it was definitely a lot better than I remembered. So if you haven't played Bad Blood, after watching this episode, go ahead and play that. But Aftermath, before we move on, I just want to ask what's been up with you lately.
Not a lot. I had driving school today, and I'm probably going to get my license on Wednesday of this week. That's 2 days if you listen to this on the Monday it's released, which is pretty exciting. But I did driving school today, and it was like a defensive driving, and so we had to go like 40 miles an hour, like a straight line, and then we had to brake real quick.
I had to do that too, I remember.
It was a ton of fun.
Awesome. Well, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we have news again. 2 episodes in a row. That's a record for the show. So hopefully we can continue the streak. Ubisoft, if you're watching this, post some more news after this episode goes up. But yeah, if you didn't hear about this news, basically Yves Guillemot stated this, and I quote, "Our biggest title will be Watch Dogs, which will build on the success of the first game. It has been one of Ubisoft's best-selling games of all time, and the game will once again surprise players with a new tone and innovative hacking gameplay possibilities." And I've basically already given my thoughts on this, but like I said, Watch Dogs is, I liked Watch Dogs' serious tone. It could have been executed way better, but I still enjoyed it. So I'm guessing by new tone, he basically means our character won't be driven by someone's death, but instead, the main character might be hacking just for the fun of it. I don't know. Aftermath, what are your thoughts?
I'm really looking forward to it. I think Watch Dogs 1 had a pretty solid tone. It felt like it wasn't kind of jumping back and forth within itself, but I think the tone was a bit too serious for me. Aiden was always whining about stuff. I think a lot of that comes back down to Aiden for the most part, but it'll be interesting. Excuse me. It'll be interesting to see how they take it and what he means by a new tone. If it's going to be, I assume that means it's just going to be lighter in tone. I don't think they could go much darker than Grumpy Aiden. But yeah, I think could be cool. It might cement the series' identity a little bit more than what it was with Watch Dogs 1, with just Aiden brooding around the city.
It does make sense, too, how they're going to go for a new tone, because you don't really want the same thing again, like another serious tone or your character being driven by death, which Assassin's Creed has kind of done a lot. So hopefully it's just a completely new story. But also, I forgot to mention in the article, Ubisoft CFO also called the game Watch Dogs 2, which I believe is like the 4th time Ubisoft has called it that. So I think it's safe to assume that the game will in fact be called Watch Dogs 2.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I don't know if they would go for a subtitle. At least I don't think with the first sequel they would go for a subtitle. Maybe they'll do what Assassin's Creed has done. Maybe later on in the series they'll start putting subtitles on them.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be called Watch Dogs 2. I don't think they're going to have a subtitle or anything on this one.
But with all that out of the way, today we have some very cool questions. And I know I've been saying this every episode for a while, but keep posting your questions in the comments down below. We really do appreciate it. All right, so Aftermath, the first question is this. Who is the worst/least interesting villain in Watch Dogs?
So I had to think about this for a while, because it sounds like we have more than one villain. And we kind of do have more than one villain. We have Default, would be a secondary villain. But I think that the least interesting one, or the worst one, would probably be Damien. He was kind of interesting in the way that him and Aiden had a backstory together, and how they knew each other before, but I think that he kind of was just another one of those people who just didn't really have any depth to him. He was more just like, I can't even remember what his motivation was or anything. He just didn't like Aiden very much, from what I could tell, and he didn't like that Aiden betrayed him, and his mind betrayed him. So yeah, I'd have to say Damien for least interesting villain of Watch Dogs.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this as well, and Damien was up there. but I ended up going with Iraq. For me, he was just your typical gangster, and there was nothing really special about him. I feel like Lucky Quinn was a lot more menacing because he was like 80 years old and still running
there were
things.
a lot of villains in Watch Dogs. You're right, actually. I didn't even think about all these people.
Yeah, exactly. I think, okay, so Default, Damien, Iraq, Lucky Quinn, and I think that was it, but that's like 4 right there.
We could probably count in any, like, Bloom would be another one.
Yeah.
As a whole. Who was the woman that was in charge of Bloom? I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name.
It's been ages since I played Watch Dogs.
It hasn't been for me, but her character didn't matter, so yeah, she could have been a bad one. All right, but anyways, Iraq did actually get better towards the end of the game because he had everyone's data, and he was also the other hacker at the Merlot Hotel, which kind of twisted with the plot and everything. But I just felt like, personally, he wasn't as exciting as the other villains, and again, he was typical and generic, at least for me. Damien, probably my second pick. He was kind of up there with Iraq.
Yeah, I kind of had an interest in Iraq simply because of his whole setup and base that he had set up in that area with the whole tower. I think that's kind of a part of that, and that kind of made it more interesting. Now, Brett, one of the central parts of Watch Dogs is its hacking. So, Brett, we've talked about before what our favorite hack was. What is the worst hack in Watch Dogs?
Okay. So I thought long and hard about this one as well, because there is actually some very stupid hacks. And for me, the worst hack is stupid and just pointless. So I'm going to go with hacking elevators. Because why are you going to hack an elevator when you can just push the button to call it? It's just,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's just pointless. Like, Aiden, are you really that lazy? Just walk a couple of feet and push that button, and you're good. There's no reason to hack an elevator, and that was pointless and stupid. So I have to pick that.
For me, I was looking at the list of them, and I'd just say hacking the billboards, the electronic billboards, and most of them, it would just bring up a meme, an online meme, and like, some of them would be like, you what mate, and some of them would be like, much hack, and things like that, different references. And it was kind of funny at first, but it's really persistent. Whenever you're driving down the freeway, it would constantly be giving you the prompts to do the, to change the billboards. I just really didn't have an interest in that after the first 5-10 minutes of playing around in the game. And so that one is pretty useless all around. And so that's what I would have to say for the worst hack.
Yeah, I did think those were kind of funny at first too, and then it's just like, okay, wow, that doesn't do anything. Like, haha, meme, so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Such driving, such hack, whatever. But all right, that was a good answer. Very good, Aftermath. I love you. On to the final question. Aftermath, what is your favorite minigame or digital trip in Watch Dogs?
Now, these were actually some of my favorite parts of Watch Dogs. Like, when I think of my enjoyment with Watch Dogs, it nearly completely revolves around these minigames or these digital trips. I had so much fun with these that it was actually pretty hard to pick one. Like, I had like one that was so much funner than the others that I put a lot of time into. Maybe Spider Tank I really enjoyed. I also really enjoyed Alone, which was the robots one where you had the stalking through the city. That one had kind of even a story behind it as well, while the others didn't really have much of a story behind them. Madness was kind of fun. I'm just going to list up all of them. Yeah. Psychedelic was the flat one. Psychedelic was a bit iffy because it was kind of the controls were kind of finicky for flying through the air like that, but it was still fun. And then we have Conspiracy, which was the cyber one, which was kind of cool. But I'd say after Spider Tank and Alone both stand out to me as I had a ton of fun with them. The upgrade system in both of those is really cool. Alone I actually finished. I think Spider Tank and Alone were the only two I finished. I might have finished Conspiracy too, but I really enjoyed it. I didn't finish Madness because it was just so kind of frustrating to control the car like that. But Alone and Spider Tank were good. What do you think, Brett? What was your favorite minigame or digital trip?
Well, first off, I did like for the digital trips how if you complete them, you actually got an outfit to go along with it.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, but you listed digital trips, and actually for me, my 2 favorite things, I also picked more than one because you just can't, all right? I picked 2 mini games, and I would have to say Invasion or NVZN, the phone game where you're killing aliens attacking Chicago. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun with this. It was simple, but just also very fun to shoot aliens while you're in Chicago. And also, you could see civilians playing the game on the streets, which was also pretty funny. And in addition to that, I also like Cash Run as well. And yeah, just Cash Run was very underrated in my opinion. It was a lot of fun trying to make it to a checkpoint in a certain amount of time using parkour. And I will say some of the Cash Run locations were fucking hard, but it was still fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Cash Run. It was cool to just see it around. It was one of those things where I kind of played around when I first got the game. Same with Invasion. I played around with it a little bit, but I had fun with Invasion, and then I didn't really touch it again after that. And then Cash Run was cool too. I played that occasionally when I was just running around the city randomly. It was fun to just see it pop up on your phone or to see the icon on the ground, and then to just be like, okay, yeah, I have time to play this, and then just playing it, and it was just a fun little distraction. I really enjoyed those mini games too.
See, for me, it's like the other way around. I didn't really play Digital Trips after playing them once or twice. I just kind of got bored of them. So,
really?
Yeah.
What? How could you get bored of Alone? I played all the way through Alone twice. Spider Tank too.
Listen, everyone, put in the comments how you felt about Digital Trips, and you'll see Aftermath, they all will agree with me.
I don't know about that. I think they're all going to agree with me.
No. After playing them once or twice, it got boring. I just completed them to get the outfits. If there wasn't outfits, no.
What?
Yep, I'm sorry.
I didn't even realize there were outfits until I already got Spider Tank and Alone.
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
Well, that's a good surprise for you then.
It was, but I enjoyed it so much. Okay.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments down below. Anyways, that brings us to the end of episode 7. I want to thank you all so much for watching. These are always fun to do. And Aftermath, I do want to thank you for joining me each and every week. It really means a lot.
Pleased to be here, Brett. It's always fun talking to you.
I love you. Again.
Love you too.
All right. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all later.